You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Kay Adams, Denise Welsh, Nadia Sawala and Jane Moore.
Oh my goodness! I completely jumped the gun there because I was too excited by the audience. Calm down. Hello and welcome to your Thursday Loose Women. Oh, I'm embarrassed now. Lots to come on today's show. We are talking about children's beauty treatments after one mum sparked outrage by admitting to waxing her toddler. But with over 4 million likes on TikTok, could it be a case of cruel to be kind? And they're the dancing duo tipped to clinch the Glitter Ball trophy. Hamza and Jovita will be joining us later to chat all things Strictly. And also, it's a big day for Nadia after she has received some life-changing health news. So tune in at 10 to 1 to find out why. And as always, let us know what you think. And there are the ways that you can contact us. Now, with many cutting back costs this Christmas, Christmas parties around the country may be a little bit less glitzy and glamorous than normal. But the Independent Parliamentary Standards Authority have ruled that for the first time, bills for food, drink and festive decorations can all be claimed on taxpayers' money by MPs. Now, some MPs have blasted the ruling, and the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has also warned that they will have to justify any expenses that they claim. I can feel Denise turning towards me, and it's making me nervous.
Well, you might be surprised. Because I do feel in life I am turning into Mrs. Victor Meldrew about everything. Everything makes me angry. But I also feel that the press are very responsible for our anger at the moment. They seem to throw a grenade in with the top headline. And I know, Jane, you work for
I work for a newspaper, not for... You're talking about online.
Yeah. Well,
clickbait.
Well, yeah, yes, but still, anyway, the fact is, I think if you read between the lines, it's not quite as they say. What I do want to know is, they're saying now, decorations, food and drink. What were they able to claim for?
Can I just say no alcohol?
But what were they able to claim for before? Because this has always gone on.
Well, I would say that probably it's been in the mix anyway. I mean, this is guidance. I think, as far as I can tell, that MPs have asked for clarification on what they can and can't do. If you think back in the day, there were MPs claiming for some duck house in the middle of his pond. So the notion that they can't put up a bit of tinsel and whatever for the people that have
I think there are going to be some MPs that will always abuse these...
But it's guidance. It's guidance. They don't have to.
There are always some MPs that will abuse it, like they did with some of the housing benefits, and some who will stick to the rules. So until I know more, that's really all I've got to say.
I just feel like, again, we haven't been distracted by something that's quite small when there's such huge things going on and dodgy dealings and all sorts of things. I mean, personally, I think you're at work. I think that's probably OK that you... Christmas parties, we're talking about sausage rolls, a few paper chains. Yeah. There's no alcohol. Yeah. So I know I'm supposed to be angry, but I can't be.
Well. I mean, presumably we paid for all of their parties over the last 2 years that they were having anyway, so what's the big deal at Christmas?
But you know what, we have to... Like, well, God, I'll let that one go over my head, but, you know, it is that sense of proportion, you're right, and I was, you know, walking in this morning, listening to the radio, and we're talking about Christmas parties, and I heard just on the radio a story about people in Afghanistan, parents so poor that they're having to tranquilise their children because these children are starving. And this is to prevent them from just the pain of hunger. Yeah. And when you hear stories like that and these other things that are happening in the world, then I have to have a bit of sense of perspective about a sausage roll for the MP. And hopefully they will all, and I would imagine the majority, will be very sensible about their Christmas parties.
Really?
Yeah. You know what? I think they will, because I think the majority of MPs actually...
Well, Rishi Sunak has already...
She's calm.
Rishi Sunak has already said he won't be claiming, and I'm sure lots of others would say exactly the same.
Well, yeah, Denise is calm just now, but she's about to be sky high again because... Have you ever had your expensive perfume taken at an airport security? Whoa, you know. Well, you might be rejoicing in the latest news. Airport hand luggage limits have to be under 100 mils at the moment, but and carried in a clear plastic bag. But apparently, this will be changed within the next couple of years because they'll bring in more sophisticated
when we've got
scanners.
streamers and balloons and dancing boys. This is incredible.
Absolutely. So it might be an end to Airport Man, Denise.
My husband is Airport Man. He honestly turns into a completely different creature. If he could, he would get to the airport 24 hours before the plane. If we've got a taxi booked for, say, 5 a.m, at 3, he's like Paddington Bear sitting on his suitcase by the front door. And honestly, he's so not like this.
Does he insist on holding all the passports? Mark does
the
that.
passports, he'll hand me the boarding card, but it's whisked back in and it's put into the laminate, and there it is.
He carries around a laminate?
He has everything in a laminated folder. But he's not disorganised it. He's not organised in all sense of the word. Once we were sat in a cafe, I knew in my mind we had 2 hours before boarding. He heard some scratchy thing about final call. He went, final call! And I grabbed all the bags and I'm sweating buckets and gone to the thing. And it was something like, would Mr. and Mrs. Ponsonby Smythe, you know, go for final call? We had still 2 hours to go. And it's a real stress. And he loves it because every time there's always something in my case. And you know when the cases go like that and yours goes like that, he always goes, oh. Because mine always goes over, so that is great news for me.
It's good. Well, it's a complete opposite for Jane, who's the coolest traveller you have ever met.
Yeah, I'm
in your
really
life.
disappointed by this because I lose my smug right.
Oh.
I was so smug going through an airport. Well, you guys know, you've been through an airport with me.
It really is quite sick.
But I'm just organised. I'm organised. I've got the stuff in the clear plastic bag. It's in a pocket at the front of the suitcase, which I've bought specially. I get there, I pull out my plastic bag, I put it in the tray, it goes through, it's all under 100 mils. I never go like that.
Oh, your
And I'm
case
out
has
the other
never
side.
done that.
Never done that, ever.
Really?
She's got such a weird brain.
Oh.
I mean, let's face it.
It's organised.
So weird.
It's like there are very clear rules, and if you follow them, you're fine.
When we went to Spain last for a weekend, she had a bag that big, didn't she? But
Yes,
she
she
had
did.
to show us a number of times.
It
Took
was
me into
slightly bigger
Took
than
me into
that.
the bedroom,
Yeah.
sit on the bed, showed me again as
Yeah,
we
well
leave,
done,
showed
Jane.
I
me-
have to say, though, on that same trip when she was so organised, you would think that you were on the Midnight Express.
Yeah.
I mean, I have never...
The fear, it's what Lincoln's
She sweats her way like this. She's going, oh my God, oh my God.
Because I
I'm going,
lose
what?
my passport all the time. I mean, that one time when we all went to Ibiza and we got to passport control, he said, where's your passport? I went, I don't know. And he said, but you have arrived in Ibiza. I went, well, I did have it, but I haven't got it now. And he let me go in without a passport.
It
Yes.
did. I know, but it's that look on your face. You always look as if they're going to say, turn around, get naked and spread them. I know. They never do.
That's completely different, mate. No, but I do. I get so fearful about it. I remember you saying to me years ago, Nadia, you don't unpack. You put a grenade in your suitcase and wait for it to go off. So my terror is somebody's going to ask me to open that bag and it's just all going to spring.
Well, listen, beautiful segue. Never go to Japan. Have you seen the photographs of the Japanese football fans? They've been praised around the world for their
love this.
behaviour at the World Cup in Qatar. So they beat Germany, which was an incredible result, but the Japanese supporters stayed behind and helped clean up.
What, just
all-
automatic?
Because
The
they're
litter- they just-
so respectful.
yeah.
Well, and actually the Japanese team as well. I don't know if you saw the pictures, a picture of their dressing room afterwards. And
Spotless.
it is absolutely spotless. There you go. That is how
That
they
freaks
left
me
it.
out in hives.
Yeah, it does me a bit.
After beating Germany in the World Cup, which was one of the biggest upsets ever. That's incredible, isn't
Because
it?
they know that if they don't do it, someone else has got to come and do it, pick up their rubbish. It's respectful to
It's so lovely.
tidy
You
up
could have a
behind
bit more of
yourself.
that.
Why is
Do
it-
you tidy up a bedroom, though, after a hotel stay?
I will tidy it up to the point. I know they're going to strip the bed, so I'll just straighten the bed. But yeah, I do.
Straighten the bed?
Everything, all my rubbish, I put in the bin.
Oh, no,
I put in the bin. I don't leave my rubbish on the sides or
Why
anything.
do you
I
straighten the bed?
I'm always straight. I make my own bed.
No, I
every
make my
day.
own bed, but that is going to all be stripped.
No, but that's my mentality. It's that. I don't know. I've never been in the army, but it is that thing in the army where they go, if you make your bed every day, that sets you up for the day. It gets you in the frame of mind. And I'm like that in a hotel. I just straighten it, put the pillows back on the bed. I don't leave them all over the floor.
Imagine if we got married, Nadia. I can't even bear the
We
thought
were
of it.
in a hotel, actually, at the weekend. We'd been there two minutes max. And I'd walked through and then turned around and I literally screamed. And Mark's like, what have you done? What have you done? And I'd actually got onto the bed and got off. Well, there was just this black stuff everywhere. And I was just so panic-stricken. And what it was all the fluff off my socks. And and then I made a coffee and I pulled the top bit out and the Nespresso thing bounced all the way across the carpet. And this was like, we've been there 5 minutes. It's wrecked.
It's funny when you're having a
in the maid's thing at the bottom, there'll be a photo of you.
There will.
There'll be like, this person is a nightmare.
I was compare it, though. I went to New York to see my son play recently, and Kate Thornton, you know, our old buddy Kate Thornton came with us, and we were staying opposite in the hotel. And I cannot tell you the difference when I went into hers. And she had a 14-year-old son then. Hers was,
immaculate.
Spotless. Ours, you couldn't get the door open. I tidied it before we left, obviously, because I took everything with me.
You're building your part now.
I didn't strip the bed. I didn't do the bed. But no, I can't help it.
So it must be personality linked rather than cultural. I mean, obviously we're saying Japan, it must be part of their their culture to be very respectful and to tidy up. Look at them, but
well, Japan apparently is one of the most beautiful places to go because of that very.
Have you never been to Japan?
But my
Don't
son
go.
has.
Don't go.
Don't go.
It's not going to be worth it.
They don't want me to go.
Don't worry, Japan. We're not going to send her. You're safe. It's fine. It's fine. She's never going. Anyway, she's lost her passport, so it doesn't really matter. Coming up, they are the favourites to lift the Glitter Ball trophy this year. Strictly Sizzlers. Hamza and Jovita will be here at 1:15. Really looking forward to seeing them. And if the word's impulsive, disorganised and easily distracted sum you up, well, you aren't alone. It may even be signs of something more serious. All ties into Nadia's life-changing news. She will be revealing all right after this. See you shortly. Ahead of their performance this weekend, Strictly Sizzlers, Hamza and Jovita are taking a break for rehearsals to drop by. And Nadia has recently had some life-changing news. She's revealing all in just a moment. But first, it's a competition, and here's how you could win £50,000 and have your entire Christmas all wrapped up in our festive prize. Gok Wan has all the details.
'Tis the season to be jolly, and I am delivering a magical Christmas to you. It starts with a festive £50,000 guaranteed to be in your bank account before the big day. Next up, we have got your Christmas sorted with all these fabulous prizes worth over £20,000. From this micro scooter to this season's top toys. This tech bundle including iPhone 14, a 55-inch LG Smart TV, this Dyson vacuum cleaner, designer handbags to these must-have kitchen gadgets, Smeg goodies and so much more. And we're also going to take care of your entire Crimbo meal with a £500 voucher to spend at M&S. Delicious. Not only that, we're also going to add all these fabulous decorations to get you in the festive spirit. This really is the prize that keeps on giving, because we're going to get all of this delivered to you in time for Christmas. For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY46, PO Box 7558, Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 2nd of December at 3 p.m. and entrance must be contactable on the 9th of December and for 2 working days after. Good luck.
Now, when you think of the term ADHD, what exactly comes to mind? If you envisage a young boy running around causing havoc, not paying attention in class, well, you aren't alone. For generations, it has been seen as a male issue. One of the reasons why it's massively underdiagnosed in women. Now, thanks to a rise in awareness of female traits, women are receiving diagnoses later in life. Nadia has been on her own journey to try and find out once and for all why she has always felt just a little bit different.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder affects around 2.6 million people in the UK. My husband Mark is one of them, and I suspect I might be too. But while women are as likely to suffer with the condition as men, we only account for 1 in every 3 diagnoses. I'm planning to have my own assessment, but before that, I want to hear more from women who've been diagnosed later in life. I'm with care coordinator Jo, who found out she had ADHD at the age of 34, and delicatessen owner Debbie, who wasn't diagnosed until a few months ago at 54 years old, to find out more about their experiences.
You're both late starters. Let's talk about this. Basically, if you're not diagnosed as a child, then that's late.
I think my behaviour at school was not so much when I was really quite young, but certainly going up into secondary school, I struggled with teachers mainly. I struggled massively with boredom.
Debbie, what was your journey to diagnosis?
My son got diagnosed and said to me, "You must go, Mum, because all my struggles are what you struggle with." I spent money we didn't have. At 50-odd-year-old, we've got a mortgage that we shouldn't have. That's my spending. Everything affected me really badly. I'd get a spiteful comment and I'd take it home and I'd cry and it'd continue and it to a point sometimes it did make me just wish I could just go to sleep and not wake up.
The stats are there. It's just so shocking to me that
scary.
When you were told that you had it and that possibly all these things that you had anger with yourself or shame about, there was a reason for it, how were you left feeling?
When my assessor said to me, I said to her, I'm really worried about getting this diagnosis because I don't want it to be an excuse for how I've been.
Wow.
And she says, it's not an excuse, it's a reason.
So what would you say the best things that have happened for you having got a diagnosis?
I just wake up dancing every morning.
As good as that?
Well, I don't quite dance, but my brain and my heart and everything is just dancing all the time. I'm just happy all the time.
If anyone said to me tomorrow, right, here's a pill, take it, and it will
Wipe
get rid
out
of
your ADHD.
I'd be like, get that pill away from me.
I don't want a
right
neurotypical
now.
brain, thank
No,
you.
I don't. No, I really don't.
My time with Jo and Debbie gave me lots of food for thought. I'm back home with Mark to talk about my reasons for wanting to find out if I have ADHD once and for all.
You might laugh, but I do actually feel quite nervous about having this assessment. After going on and on about wanting to have it.
I don't really understand why you're having it.
What do you mean?
Well, it's blindingly obvious that you've got ADHD.
Well,
I mean, you don't need anyone to tell you that. We all know that.
But,
We all tell you that.
actually that is interesting because actually I do. There are so many things through my life that I want to forgive myself for.
Wow.
Behaviours.
Yeah.
But what really frightens me is if I'm not, then what were all those behaviours about?
We frustrate the hell out of each other all the time, and I think it would just be nice to get some I think some peace. It would give us some peace, wouldn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So now you've given me the reason for having it.
Yeah.
Before my assessment can begin, I'm asked to fill out a questionnaire that will help determine how likely I am to have ADHD. My questionnaire reveals that I have several signs of the condition, so now I'm with Rebecca Whelan, who is going to carry out the rest of my assessment.
So day to day, what do you like at giving it attention to detail, would you say?
I would say that I work really, really hard for any attention to detail that I manage to achieve.
What about if something contains a lot of detail, say a letter, a report? Can you
I'm
read
not very
those?
good at taking that in, no. I quite often open a book in the middle, if that makes any sense. And I could really love a book, but I won't finish it.
If you're trying to focus on something, do you ever find that, say, for example, your mind wanders off, you start thinking of things that are not related, so you get internally distracted by your own thoughts?
If I was to describe it, it's like my brain's going along and then it just skips.
Do you get bored quick?
very bored and very distracted. But the thing is, my brain can skip when I'm interested as well. It's a real thing of sadness with my girls because they talk to me about that. Like, you don't ever fully listen.
Say if somebody wanted to do something and give you a time limit to do it, would you be more likely to produce it at that time or not? Yeah.
If it's last minute, I can produce amazing things very fast.
Under pressure.
But if I'm given under pressure,
yeah.
If you give me a month to do something, I'm going to do it in the last hour.
Do you ever find you struggle to switch off?
I couldn't sit quietly without noise. I have to have something on to relax.
After answering many more questions about the way I've handled things throughout my childhood and adult life, it's on to the last part of the assessment.
The final questions are around how you feel that the symptoms have affected you as a person, so in terms of your confidence and your self-esteem.
If you scratch the surface, underneath there is total low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But I do an amazing job of holding myself up.
Can you think of anything that you would like to change about the way that you do things day to day now?
Years ago, I gave myself a lifetime ban on driving. The reason for that I give to everybody is, it's really weird, I'll be driving along and it's almost like I lose consciousness, and everybody always, over the years, has always got so annoyed with me about this and said, well, just pull yourself together, just concentrate. But actually, it's incredibly debilitating not being able to drive. And the thought that they could, sorry, I put emotion, that there could be a chance, I mean, it sounds so pathetic, but a chance that I could drive. It sounds so pathetic.
It's not pathetic.
Because I feel really silly to my daughters. I feel really embarrassed.
So you've provided me with some really, really lovely examples of your childhood, the things that you experienced in school and how your deficits have impacted you as you've gone through life, and the symptoms that you exhibit are consistent with ADHD.
I don't know why that makes me cry. Sorry.
Can I just say something to you from what I've picked up from talking to you today? We focus quite a lot on the deficits, you know, when we're looking at these symptoms, because they do have a negative impact in somebody's life. But you are very typical of somebody with lots of ADHD symptoms that can be very positive for a person. Creativity, the ability to be able to work under pressure. So it's not all negative.
So how could life be different then?
We can treat ADHD with medication. If you tolerate and do well with medication, it can have really big life-changing effects. So the way that
be able to drive?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Because lovely Rebecca is here, who took me through that assessment. And, you know, it's many, many more questions than that. And it's a bizarre thing to go through your whole life from your childhood. Because I never really think back. I am where I am. And I've often said that to you lots over the years, haven't I? And so to actually pause and be told that you could possibly forgive yourself for some of the stuff that you've given yourself so much. Like, I will routinely walk around, oh, just me, oh, don't mind me, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I'm chaotic, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, I'm this.
Oh, I've lost count of the times you say I'm stupid.
And that's low self-esteem is a big thing for women and ADHD.
So
And, you know, when I burst into tears, Rebecca actually, I think, might have thought I was crying because I had ADHD. But actually, why I was upset was I couldn't accept that there was some sort of reason for this chaos, like, all through my life. And because what happens is, basically, your brain doesn't produce enough dopamine. That's what happens in an ADHD brain. So something called your executive function, the thing that enables you to organise, to focus on the right things. So many things involved in executive function just doesn't work in the way that it does. Like just you saying, well, I put my stuff in my bag, I put it through, and it's like, I'm looking at you like you're an alien. Because and it's funny because since I've put more stuff on my YouTube channel where you see the chaos upstairs, because I keep stuff more or less tidy downstairs, but upstairs is actually my head, and people have gone, wow, how can you live like that? That's been all the sort of beginnings of my sort of wonderings around it.
Because I wanted to ask you, because obviously we all know each other, we're mates.
That's my room.
We're mates, and, you know, when we go out and you always turn up on time, always turn up, you're very punctual. and you're the life and soul, and you light up the room.
Oh, thank you.
But what is it back home that we're not seeing? What is it day-to-day life for you that not just, you know, an untidy room? What is it that troubles you?
Well, what is so difficult is that the norm... So you say I'm always on time, but that doesn't come naturally to me. So for me to be on time, I'm checking 25 times. I'm setting off little alarms. I'm doing everything. And I work so hard and I go into blind panic if I'm going to be late, because I must not be late. Because that's the thing that I learned. It's bad if you're late. You know, there's lots of labels from a child that I got that I've tried to master.
So you've learned to mask.
The huge thing, the unbelievable thing, and I got emotional with Rebecca at the time, was the compulsive eating, which is a big part of ADHD. And actually, Rebecca was talking to me earlier saying it's one of the things that she will ask straight away.
Is that the same in men and women? Because I think as we're beginning to learn that the signs of ADHD tend to display differently, well, not just in men and women, but in every individual. There's no such thing as ADHD and everyone's the same. But broadly, there's a distinction, isn't there, between
I think
the way
that
men and
women. But Mark has ADHD and his is really bad, his compulsive eating. But the point is that you have a very high risk of addictive behaviour with ADHD. That's why it's so important. It's not just silly people running around and being sick. This can be quite serious impact in life. You know, poor function at school.
Let me just list some of the symptoms, if that's the right word, I don't know. With men and boys, traits would be a better word, causing them to be fidgety, disruptive, always on the go, restless, impulsive, impatient, prone to mood swings. But looking more at women and girls, because I know when you read this list, Denise, it really struck a chord with you.
Every single box ticked.
Yeah, difficulty to pay attention to details, focus, listen, stay organised.
Addictive behaviour.
To remember things, an inability to keep time, feeling hypersensitive to rejection, emotional dysregulation, trouble maintaining friendships, binge eating, overspending and experiencing imposter syndrome and indeed...
impulsive behaviour. And that's why, just generally speaking, people with ADHD have a shorter lifespan because of all those behaviours. So overeating, addiction. I mean, all my boozing when I was younger.
Boozing, that lovely lady saying there, because in my family it used to be a joke that people would go to me, what, because the bin man wasn't very nice to you, you're really upset. I would get so hypersensitive about someone that I didn't know. It's interesting because of what I take on Twitter now. But it's quite...
It's very complex, I would say.
Very not everybody gets every symptom.
No, exactly. And if any of this resonates with you, just investigate it a bit further, because I am now on a pink cloud of this discovery and I'm finding out so much stuff. And I have started medication and things are really changing.
Well, that's great to know. And just to say, Denise has not had a diagnosis, but you're going to look into it. Well, I mean... Absolutely, the first port of call is with your GP if you do feel that this is something you'd like to explore. And just as a note, in England, under the NHS, you do have a right to choose your mental health care provider. There are long waiting lists, clearly, for these kind of diagnoses, but if you look into it, there may be other areas that you could go to whereby you might be able to get a swifter diagnosis. It's unlikely to be a quick process, it has to be said, on the NHS. But we do have loads of information about ADHD on our website, and you can see the details below, so please do note those down. Still to come, they are the favourites to lift the glitter ball trophy in this series of Strictly Come Dancing. There they are, Hamza and his dance partner, Yovita Pushal, making their Loose Women debut in just a moment. And we're chatting beauty treatment for toddlers. But would you wax your 3-year-old's eyebrows? One woman did, and it's taken the internet by storm. We'll be discussing that next. Welcome back. We are going to be talking to Strictly's Hamza and Yovita in just a moment. But first, one mum has caused shockwaves on social media after she took to TikTok to post a video of herself waxing her 3-year-old daughter's eyebrows.
Why'd you put those on your lips? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ow! That honey. Ow, Mom. That honey still.
All right, girl. Now you got 2 eyebrows. No more Florida's brow.
No more. No more. What did she
I don't
say?
know. The little girl was fine. Can I just say the little girl was fine? But that video has had more than 4 million likes, thousands of comments in support of the woman, which is interesting when you think of the audience. They were like, whoa. So which way are you going on this, Nadia?
Well, I just feel if you're waxing a 3-year-old child, that's about you, not about her. I had a moustache for a lot of my early years.
My goodness, you're really confessing today, aren't you?
I had really hairy arms. I had, you know, big bikini line. I had a proper 70s hairy legs, all of that. And I absolutely hated it. Hated it. I was always aware of my moustache. And, you know, eventually my mum let me get rid of it and all of that. And I always said, the minute my girls say to me, can I, because it's impacting on them, I would absolutely support them and do it. I've got friends that wore thick tights the whole summer because their mum wouldn't let them shave their legs. And personally, I think that's quite cruel.
But then why driven by them?
Yeah.
And as you said with that video, that's being driven by the mother.
Well, we make that assumption. You know, I mean, kids are...
Cruel, you know, from an early age.
They're on social media from an
point.
early age. You could quite easily get a 3 or certainly a 4-year-old.
It's that the little girl had a big, thick monobrow. That's the whole thing about it.
No, but if your 3-year-old's on social media, you've got a big problem. Secondly,
not on social media. I mean,
a 3-year-old... I just don't believe that 3-year-olds think like that. And you know, I think a 3-year-old, that's too early, but I think if a child says, can I... Absolutely, but don't.
So what's your age?
Put it on social media.
Well, listen, that ship has sailed. Everything's on social media.
No,
so it
is. But it is. You
You
should not be putting something about a 3-year-old's monobrow on social media.
Would you? I agree with you that in this lady's case, obviously we don't know the whole story, but it's more about what she has perceived. That it's vanity on her part that she doesn't want her daughter having this thing. But I think as a mom, if something, whether it be, you know, being a tad hirsute, or if it was something that they want to change, if something was making my child unhappy, I would do everything I could.
Okay, a nose job at 12.
A nose job at 12. If there was something, not just because they didn't like the tip of it because it didn't fit with the Instagram process, but if there was something that the nose was causing them distress, then I would consider it, yes.
Breast implants at 16?
No, not...
Well, no, but I'm just saying, where's your lines?
I'm not just saying just to make a... You know, otherwise I would have had my own done. Let's face it, I was bothered. Bloody hell.
That's a whole other story, which we've had this morning, actually. It was very entertaining.
Get to, you know, you can play keepy-uppy as a hobby. But I do...
That was a little World Cup reference.
Because of the discussion we were having earlier as well. But if something was making my child really, really unhappy and it was a cause of bullying, I would do everything I could to help them change it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes a bit of adversity in early life isn't so bad for you. I'm going to call for apologies. Hopefully...
like you didn't spoil your daughters, whatever.
Yeah, OK, fair enough. Would you give your daughter beauty treatment? We asked our audience and 94% said no and only 6% said yes.
Yes, so... that's 3.
Before we speak to Hamza and Jovita, it is competition time. How do you fancy winning £50,000? Gok has all the details.
'Twas the month before Gokmas, and I'm Gok full of cheer, as you have the chance to win Christmas this year. That's all the decorations, a tree, loads of gifts, plus a £500 Christmas lunch to spend with M&S. Goodies like top toys, an Apple product or 2. How about all the gadgets winging their way to you? We'll also fill your bank account with a nifty 50 grand. That's cash to spend throughout the year. Your finances will not be bland. And if you want a Christmas break, we have your back. We're kind. £5,000 to spend at Champneys, where you can chill and unwind. The best news is it's all guaranteed to reach you before the big day. If you want Father Gokmas to deliver to you, there's only one way to win. It's Slay.
For another chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY46 PO Box 7558 Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday the 2nd of December at 3 p.m. and entrance must be contactable on the 9th of December and for 2 working days after. Good luck.
Now, they are the bookies' favourites to win this year's Strictly Glitter Ball trophy. But how did a wildlife enthusiast end up swapping his home in the Scottish wilderness for shimmying the salsa on Saturday night telly?
Oh, we got ourselves a ballroom dancer in the house.
You have so much rhythm. Even your hair was going salsa, 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 salsa. Perfecto.
You are a fantastic dancer.
That's probably one of the best cha-cha-chas I've ever seen. I never in my life thought I would see this Australian dancing.
Spectacular.
Outstanding! You are the one to beat for me.
Please welcome Hamza and his dance partner, Jovita.
Those are the chairs I like because they're high.
You are a very popular pair in this audience, aren't they? Yeah. Thank you. I was just watching Shirley there say that is the best cha-cha-cha I've ever seen. And we were just having a little chat and you said that you were struggling with that cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, the cha-cha does not make sense to me at all. Nothing makes sense in it. It's, I'm just complaining to Vita the whole time. What's the rhythm again? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. See, there you go. That's exactly my point. 2, 3, cha-cha-cha. I was like, well, where's the one?
He got it on the night. He got it on the night.
Yeah, I just had to learn the steps and what to do because the rhythm doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I can stick to a beat, but I can't count. Like, I don't know the timings, so
But you're really good visually, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. So my dyslexia helps me with that. So Jovita has to do the dance once, and then I'm going, are you doing my part or your part? It's like, no, I'm doing your part. Got it. And then she'll do her part, and then we kind of attach together, and then it kind of works.
And you picked up the choreography quite quickly, Hamza, as a result of that, with it being a sort of a picture.
Yes, yeah. So long as it's 3D or where we are, we need to be on that side of the stage, and I can get that.
Right.
Whereas if you try and explain it, it doesn't work.
Did you know you could dance?
No, is the real answer. No, I like dancing. It's the same as, like, I like singing, but I'm not a singer.
Jane and I were there on the first week, and we were like, wow. And Jane said, look at him. Look at the way when you reverse this, his heels stay off the floor. I mean, she went full judge. She said, I've watched every episode. I know that's brilliant. I said, well, I don't know about any of that, but it's a feeling that...
Yeah.
I said that to you after show, didn't it?
Yeah. And again, all this is thank you to Jovita, because we went through so much of it. And she says, if you do this, Anton's going to lose his mind. I'm going, really? It's just a heel. Like, what's the difference? And then, no, trust me, if you do this, this is going to work.
Do you scare him then on purpose?
Me?
No, yeah.
Never. Absolutely. No. Absolutely not. I'm gentle. I always say, because Hamza always likes to have excuse to not do the things. He's usually like...
I'm scared already.
He's usually like, but what if I won't do that? And then I'm trying to tell him, like, yeah, but if you do, he will see it. Yeah. And you will get a good point for that. and then after every time we dance, and actually
the
judges like, they see those things we are working on the weekend. He's like, you were right.
Yeah, like I lean in and was like, that's exactly what you said.
What I love about you, Hamza, though, is you, for me, is what the show is all about, because you're not showbiz, and, you know, you have great humility, and you're someone who actually spends a lot of time on your own in your job, don't you? And you're very happy with your own company. Have you struggled with the kind of the bombardment of it all?
To be honest, yeah, I want to say yes, because I was and I am on social media, but as soon as I got announced, it was like, oh, who is he? I don't know who he is. granted, you're not meant to know who a wildlife cameraman or presenter is.
But you've not had that in your life.
So, yeah, so normally I wasn't under the spotlight. And then I spoke to Evita and I'm like, what shall we do? She goes, just don't worry about it, it'll be fine.
We all need one of you in our lives.
Yeah, honestly, she carries me through half the week.
Lovely.
She's just holding me the whole way through. And then I have to just flip her every now and then on Saturday. But
there needs to be, a deal, right? Yeah, I'll carry you, but you carry me as well.
But just also the noise of it.
It's a lot. It is a lot for me, but like I said, I can happily spend 3-4 weeks by myself and be comfortable
let's just
in
give
it.
people an idea of where you live. I think we've got some footage here of Ardnamurchan, which is your home, which is a very, very... rural location.
Have you been there?
The west of Scotland.
I loved it.
Ardnamurchan, yeah. I met
That's where
Evita
we
at the top of
met.
the lighthouse.
That's where we met.
That's where our reveal
but you
was.
also, that I loved, of course, when you left the Sudan, you went to live in Newcastle and you had a Geordie accent.
I was
for
like,
a bit,
"Hawaii, man." Stick
a rubber hose up your nose.
That's exactly it. That's exactly. Until I came down south and everyone started giggling at me for having this Geordie accent, and then it quickly switched to the accent that I have now.
Can we talk about that fantastic dance that Motsi absolutely went crazy for, which was really a sort of tribute to your African heritage, wasn't it? Why was that so special for you?
Well, it was kind of meant to represent the three mothers in my life. Mother Africa, Mother Nature, and my mother, so my family. And it all started off with Evita. She asked me, if we get through week 1 or week 2 and we get given couple's choice, what would you like to do? And I said, I'd love to do something that, puts the natural world out there and celebrate Africa, my family. She goes, OK, cool.
And the idea was cooking in my head. OK,
yeah, but it's never been done before. And I'm like, OK, well, maybe it's not going to happen then. And all thanks to her, she went through the process and eventually Strictly gave us the opportunity. And that's why you saw me at the end of it crying, because I never thought in a million years we'll have this opportunity to do it. And we kind of, I want to say, Strictly first, would you say?
Yeah, it was.
The emotions got to me at the end of it, and then it meant a lot. And for her to do it with me as well, she was fantastic in that dance.
Well, yeah, and Motsi said that. You're going to check your DNA.
That's your heritage, but Scotland has embraced you, haven't it?
Yeah, I would say that I am a Scotsman.
Yeah.
It is an amazing country. My village is incredible. I love the place. That's where I cut my teeth as a wildlife cameraman. It all started off in Scotland. I had the love of nature, but where I kind of made it in the business was all in Scotland.
But can you really take that glitter ball, because you're going to get that glitter ball, and go back to Ardnamurchan? I mean, from glitz, 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 to go back to the quiet life?
I don't know. I don't know how we're going to cope. For me, I only think about the week that's coming ahead. Genuinely, we kind of say, what do we need out of this week? She knows what the judges are looking for. So I'm kind of going, all right, Evita, I'm under your directions kind of thing. And then we just see what happens on Saturday. We never really think too far ahead.
This is a beautiful thing Hamza said to me, like, for us, it's now week 10, right? But he always says to me, no, Evita, for me, it's a week 1. Because we start completely new dance. And I need to, throw away everything what I've learned last week and now open my mind to new things.
Wow.
So
this week,
partnership.
This week is the Argentine tango. So, congratulations. We'll see you soon. Tomorrow, we're joined by singer Gareth Gates and Josh Widdicombe. So we will see you then. Good luck, guys, on Saturday.